Here's the equation f of x equals 2 times x plus 2 times x minus 6. So we need to find the x-intercepts, the y-intercepts, and the vertex. To find our x-intercepts, we're going to look for when would this equation equal 0. So I'm going to try to find out when, if any of these parts of the multiplication could equal 0. For example, x plus 2. How could x plus 2 equal 0 so that we would end up with a multiplication product of 0? Well, if x was negative 2, negative 2 plus 2 would be 0. And we can write our x-intercept point as x is negative 2, and that would be at a y of 0. We'll do the same for the other part of our multiplication. When would x minus 6 equal 0? If x was positive 6, 6 minus 6 would give us 0. And we'll write that as a point, 6, 0. If asked, you could graph these. One x-intercept at negative 2 and one x-intercept at positive 6. To find the y-intercept is if you plug in 0 for the x values. So we'll take our original equation, 2, parentheses, x plus 2, but instead of x, we're plugging in 0. 0 plus 2, and again, x minus 6, plug in 0 minus 6. You can calculate these. 2 times 0 plus 2 is 2. 0 minus 6 is negative 6. Multiply all those numbers together, you should end up with negative 24. And we'll write our y-intercept as a point on our graph when we plugged in 0, and the y ended up at negative 24. We could add that to our graph all the way down at negative 24. The last part is to find the vertex. When we find the vertex, we need to find the middle of the x-intercepts, because this graph should be symmetrical for a quadratic. So if I look at my x-intercepts, I try to find the middle. The middle falls exactly at 2. A way I could calculate that is by looking at the x-intercepts we found here. The middle between negative 2 and 6 is positive 2. And then I will plug in the middle for x into the equation. So look at the original, 2 times x plus 2, or 2 plus 2, and x minus 6, plug in 2 minus 6. Calculate how much this is. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Multiply all together, we should end up with negative 32. And we can write that y-intercept as a point. When we plugged in 2, or that vertex as a point, we plugged in 2 and we calculated it was at negative 32. And on our graph, we could graph that over to x is 2 and down to x is negative 32. From here, now we can draw our U-shaped parabola through the x-intercepts to the minimum vertex, to the y-intercept, and back up. And there you have solved a quadratic for the x-intercepts, y-intercepts, and vertex.